And we are live at Gateway Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri. I am Robert Garrett Jr. alongside my broadcast partner for the night, Eddie Gage, and Mike Improta in the stats booth. Eddie, how are you tonight?
What up, though? Feeling good tonight. Looking forward to this matchup. How about you?
Yeah, tonight looks to be a very good matchup between running backs, actually. Diesel Dawson with St. Louis, and then Reggie Streeter with New Orleans. These two teams rely heavily on the run game and look to get that going early.
Yeah, looking at their stats so far this season, I mean, it's kind of too early to tell what directions are going, but New Orleans is last in the league in rush defense, so I expect St. Louis to try to take advantage of Diesel Dawson and take some of this pressure off their rookie quarterback, Johnny Pickler.
And St. Louis defense looking to do what they do best and only allowing 75 yards average on the rush. Reggie Streeter looking to take advantage and do something to show them otherwise. So we'll go with the coin flip. And the Gladiators will defend first. So the New Orleans Pharaohs looking to get the ball and see what they can do at start the game.
Gonna be a fun one.
So St. Louis looking to kick off. That would be Graham Northrup on the kickoff. And back for New Orleans would happen to be Aaron Arrington. Arrington with 15 kick returns, 331 yards so far this season. And he gets the ball and will take it up to about the 33 to start this drive.
New Orleans, you just wonder how much gas they have in the tank after playing almost 2 games of a football just a few days ago, with their last game going into triple overtime.
So outcome for the Pharaohs will be Xander Gold at quarterback and Reggie Streeter at running back, along with Badir Ashloni, Ermac Jensen, and Deezer Powell at receiver. Gold will drop back to pass, and that one will be a gain of 6 for the receiver, who is Reggie Streeter.
Reggie, the tailback for New Orleans, just made that defender pay and introduced him to the pavement there.
And Reggie Streeter has been used fairly often so far this season in the passing game, 16 receptions, 87 yards. So you look to see if New Orleans will continue to get him going. Streeter will be to the left of Gold. 2 receivers to the top, a tight end to the bottom. He will drop back to pass and dump that one off quickly. Gets to about the 50-yard line, but there is a flag on the field.
Yeah, I didn't see where the flag came from, so this is going to be an interesting call here to start this game.
And the reception will be by Badir Ashloni if it continues, but it appears that it will be a holding call against the Pharaohs.
And that's unfortunate because St. Louis came out in a press man defense here to start this game, and the defender was beat right off the line of scrimmage.
And the man called for the penalty is Maurice Gentry, playing at the guard position. Tough one to take beginning. So it will now be 2nd and 14 for the Pharaohs, looking to regain some of the ground that they just lost. They're going to run the ball with Reggie Streeter, but he is going to be stuffed for a 2-yard loss.
Yeah, he was stuffed for a 2-yard loss, and St. Louis can credit their left defensive end for making that play happen. He doesn't get credited with the stat, but he pushed his offensive lineman back 3 yards into the backfield and made Reggie Streeter have to dance around him.
And it looked like inside linebacker Chuck Diesel was there to make the tackle. Now Gold will be alone in the backfield, 2 receivers to the top, 3 to the bottom, and will take the snap. So that one deep, and that one is overthrown. Receiver about the 50-yard line, but that will not be caught. That will make it a 4th and 16. New Orleans drive comes to a stop.
3rd and 16. Those are very hard to complete there and get first downs on because the defense just pretty much ignoring the running game and going after the passer. He got some pressure in his face and was unable to get that ball off.
Irvin Brown is back to punt this ball to the Gladiators. Back to receive is the Chase Earl, excuse me. That is a long hang time of about 4.2 yards to put them at the St. Louis 30.
Yeah, this game is going to come down, in my opinion, to rush offense versus rush defense. Both of these teams looking to establish their running game. St. Louis, can they get Diesel Dawson involved here early in this contest as they've been able to do so far this season?
And we will get to see #1 overall pick Johnny Pickler take the field at the 30-yard line. Pickler having fairly good season so far, but he drops back to pass. He gets hit, misses. Oh, and he goes down for a sack. That is an 8-yard loss. Tough start for Pickler in the St. Louis offense.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. They start this game off with a 7-step drop right out of the gate, looking to go deep and make their presence felt, but New Orleans was having none of that.
St. Louis now at the 22. Long way to go at second down. Pickler will scan the field with Diesel Dawson behind him. Steps back to pass and sacked again, that time at the 15-yard line. This New Orleans defensive line just giving Pickler all kinds of troubles to start this game.
Once again, they come and bring Bryce Lincoln on a blitz. He's a rookie, first-round pick, 4th overall, making his presence felt. Another 7-step drop for St. Louis. And once again, Pickler was introduced to the grass.
And the St. Louis Gladiators look at a 3rd and 25 here. You got to think they're just going to try to gain some ground before they punt this ball away. No, Pickler will drop back to pass, look around, almost get sacked again, but dump that one off to the receiver for a 20 or a 12-yard gain. That was Sean Harrelson on the catch, who has 7 receptions, 105 yards already this season.
Pickler once again was knocked to the turf just as he let that ball go, and St. Louis is finding themselves punting here. They put too much pressure on Johnny there. Not one carry for Diesel Dawson on that drive.
And you got to think the offensive coordinator is probably talking to the offensive line here on the sideline after that one. But Bo Zabrowski is back to punt for the Gladiators. That one deep, Arrington calls a fair catch, and that one will be caught at about the 45-yard line. And Xander Gold will take the field again with the Pharaohs offense. Xander Gold throwing 824 yards and 5 touchdowns so far this season, but also 7 interceptions. To start the play, they got 2 fullbacks and Reggie Streeter in the backfield, 1 receiver out wide, and this is going to be a run. Streeter takes up the field, but only gets about a gain of 1 yard there.
Tough sledding here early on for both of these offenses.
And the tackle there was made by Freeman Peltier to get a quick stop and make it about a 2nd and 9 for the Pharaohs. The Pharaohs stay with the same formation and again step back to hand that ball off. And that one is stuffed in the backfield, nowhere to go for Reggie Streeter.
Yeah, both of these teams know what their offense want to do. They know they want to get the running game involved, so they're stepping up into the challenge and waiting for it.
And the Gladiators only allowing, I think, 59 yards of rushing offense per game. So the rushing defense has been very good this season and will continue to give them fits. The Xander Gold drops back to pass, and he fumbles the ball. That one is jumped on by the offensive lineman that saves the Pharaohs from being in rough field position there.
Yeah, both of these quarterbacks are enduring some heavy sledding thus far. Their coordinators aren't doing them any favor with some of these questionable play calls here. And St. Louis here with a chance to redeem themselves. Let's see if they can get Diesel Dawson going.
And that was Franco Sonati with the ability to put his hand on the ball there and knock it out of Gold's hands. There is a penalty on the play. We will wait to see what it is. That is an offsides call on St. Louis.
Undisciplined right there.
And St. Louis, lucky that they had the Pharaohs so far deep to begin with. So still taking a 5-yard gain there, but not letting them out of 4th down. And Irving Brown back to punt yet again. That one will be punted off to Chase Earl, who will await this ball. get about 5 yards on that to get them to the 25-yard line to start this drive.
Second crack at it. Let's see if we can get some offense going here.
You got to think St. Louis looks to get Diesel Dawson involved on this drive after Johnny Pickler just being dominated by this Pharaohs defensive line. Pickler under center, Dawson back behind him, 2 receivers at the top of the screen. He drops back to pass yet again. This one dumped off to Diesel Dawson, who puts one in the ground, gets another, and he finally gets tackled at the 37-yard line.
That set that St. Louis just came out with in shotgun with 2 tight ends, it puts a lot of pressure on the defense. You have 2 options. You're going to take away the run, you're going to take away the pass. But either way, you can't line up in a heavy set because you're going to get burned. And St. Louis was able to get the ball out to Diesel Dawson, their best weapon on offense thus far this season, and take advantage of it.
Diesel Dawson so far on the season receiving has 12 receptions for 76 yards, so he is no stranger to having to catch a pass or two. This one an I formation, 1 receiver in the slot and 2 out wide. Pickler under center. Hands this one off to Dawson, who gets a gain of about 5 before he is tackled there for a 2nd and 5 now.
Diesel Dawson is a load. He's hard to bring down. I played him in an unofficial preseason game, and he did a number on us in that first half.
And one of the main guys blocking for Dawson would be fullback Trellis Blanton at 6 foot, 245 pounds. So they got a block for him. That ball's thrown deep, and there's nobody there to get him. He's going to take it into the end zone for a touchdown.
Chase Earl got behind the defenders, and wow, that was impressive. New Orleans came out, and it looks like they were in quarters coverage. I'm not quite sure what happened there. It must have been a miscommunication because they were dialed up to defend that route, but he was able to get past the defender and into the end zone for a touchdown.
And that play was Chase Earl's 2nd reception on the season. Prior to that, he only had 1 reception for 5 yards, so him making his name known early in this game.
Chase Earl is not going to forget this moment.
And that was actually the tight end, Cody Scott. Shout out to the booth for pointing that out to us. Still a fantastic play by the big tight end. And St. Louis will look to kick this ball off. New Orleans looking to get something done on this drive to keep the score close.
Still early, but you still want to set a tempo.
This ball is kicked off to Arrington, who's going to get it about the 15 and take it up, get to about the 30-yard line before he is tackled.
Arrington yet to make a splash thus far this season in terms of the kicking game. Looking to get himself going tonight and pad that stat sheet.
Xander Gold got to be looking to redeem himself after that fumble on the last play. Has had some turnover troubles this season, but he's going to start the drive out by himself in the backfield, 5 wide. He's going to take this snap and drop back, throw it to a quick out, who's going to get about 5 yards and step out of bounds.
2nd and 6. I'm glad they gave him something short and simple to get his confidence up because New Orleans has to find a way to, change the tempo of this game and get things moving in their favor.
And the receiver that made that catch there was Deezer Powell, one of the go-to players for this New Orleans offense. This time you're going to have 2 fullbacks along with Streeter in the backfield. He's going to play action pass it, or more of a quarter draw. He's going to get about a gain of 3 before Streeter is just dropped.
He had a full head of steam up until inside linebacker Chuck Diesel reminded him that he's a veteran in this league also.
And Reggie Streeter looked a little dizzy there standing up, but getting back into the game. He's going to stay to the left of Gold, who's going to dump it deep. There's no receiver. There's no corner in distance. He's going to take it into the end zone. Badir Ashloni for the touchdown.
both of these offenses, come out here surprising me tonight with their deep passing game, which is unfortunate for St. Louis right there. Number 41 was right there in position to make the play. Somehow was not able to make it. I'm not sure if he got caught up in the sun that was in his eyes or what, but he was right there in position to make that play and somehow missed that ball.
And it looked like corner Drew Reilly, who was covering him on that play, just got himself a little twisted up, tried to make a play on the ball before it was in the right spot, which set Asloni up to have all that open field. So the Pharaohs looking to kick the extra point and tie this game up. This kick is snapped and up. It is good. So the game is now 7-7. Pharaohs tie it up.
7-7. Both teams come out here with a philosophy that I was not expecting. I was expecting more them both to try and stick to the running game, but I've been fooled before. We'll see how this game continues to go on, but I'd like to see Diesel Dawson get involved here on this drive.
And Austin Powers out to kick for the first time this game, and it's going to be taken out to about the 20-yard line where he will get stopped to bring the St. Louis offense back out onto the field. So the St. Louis offense and Johnny Pickler will look to continue the momentum that they had. A weak I formation, fullback to the left, and both receivers down at the bottom of your screen. Pickler's going to step back for a pass, throw this one off, and it is caught. He's going to break a tackle and move forward to the 37-yard line.
Nick Fitz there on a crossing route. That play takes time to develop, and New Orleans was showing blitz. Johnny was calm and steady in the pocket. New Orleans ended up backing out of it and left that middle of the field wide open for that crossing route to develop. Nice gain here for St. Louis to start this drive.
And Nick Finch, one of the main two receivers for the Gladiators offense, the other one being Sean Harrelson, both of them having just about even stats on the stat sheet for this season. Looking at an I formation, 3 receivers out wide, 2 to the top of the screen. Pickler under center, scanning the defense, takes a snap and hands it off to the running back, who's going to take it for about 8 yards before getting tackled.
Trellis Blanton, his fullback, got off an impressive block. I didn't catch the number of the guy he just hit, but he knocked him about 3 yards back and allowed Diesel Dawson to get a nice play there on first down.
That was strong safety Tank Bennett with the tackle to stop that drive from going any farther, or that play. And this ball is handed back off to Dawson, who's going to fight for the first down before going down to at the 48-yard line.
That has to be depressing as a defense. They caught him about a yard behind the line of scrimmage, yet he was able to drag Levant Irvine, the middle inside linebacker, 2 yards and get the first down.
Johnny Pickler so far on the game has an 158.3 QBR, looking to carry that through the rest of the game. He's going to have Dawson offset to the right, 2 receivers to the bottom, and drop back the pass. And he is hit immediately and sacked for the 3rd time this game.
That's unfortunate, too, because he had the slot receiver wide open, but the play was never allowed to develop as St. Louis was facing a man defense, yet they were able to get pressure in his face right away off the snap and knock him to the turf.
And that was Zig Washington on the sack. 6'5", 300 pounds, a big man for these offensive linemen to try to handle. And Dawson offset to the left, going to go out for a dump-off pass, and he's going to be hit, but only get about a gain of 1 there as he had to reach out and jump up for that ball to try to make a play on it.
Thank goodness for Aaron Arrington there that he's got friends on the team, because he was just demolished by Diesel Dawson before his help came over there and got him to the ground.
3rd and 9 for the Gladiators. 2 receivers at the bottom of the screen, I formation in the backfield. Pickler under center. He's going to drop back, look to pass this ball. Defender's coming in, but he's going to dump that one off. That is tipped by the defense and falls incomplete.
While the defense actually fooled me on that play, I thought it was a cover 3 traditional. At the snap of the ball, I was waiting for the safety to come crashing down, but he maintained his zone discipline and got over there and helped Aaron Arrington tip that ball away.
And Pickler looked to be showing a little bit of his rookie woes so far this season, as there were about 3 Pharaohs in the middle of the field where that ball was thrown to force this third down. It's going to be punted by Zabrowski and fair caught by Arrington to get the Pharaohs the ball at the 27-yard line.
Both these teams started off hot and have since settled down just a bit, as these defenses are pretty much getting their feet settled in, and we'll see which team is able to make a move next.
Xander Gold bringing his offense back out on the field. 3 receivers to the bottom. Reggie Streeter, the lone back, and a tight end to the left of the formation. Going to drop back for a pass, throw this one off quickly. That's going to be caught and taken 9 yards to the 36-yard line.
St. Louis came out there with an umbrella defense and left that middle of the field wide open. Badu was able to take advantage of it and get himself a nice play out on first down.
And that catch made by Badir Ajloni, and it appeared as if he wanted to lower his shoulder and try to run the defender over there. It didn't work for him very well, but he tried his best. And going to be a tight formation, 1 running back, no receivers out wide. Gold's going to hand it off to Streeter, who's going to try to power ahead and get nothing. Maybe about a half a yard there, as the defense was able to stop him for a 3rd and inches.
Yeah, despite that heavy set, New Orleans was ready for it.
And the tackle made there by defensive end Tony Roberto. So the Pharaohs going to keep it in tight with Reggie Streeter, the lone back yet again. Offsides by the Gladiators, but Streeter doesn't care. Powers ahead and gets to the 36-yard line before he is tackled. Or, excuse me, the 42-yard line. The penalty was called at the 36. And that will be an offsides call against the Gladiators, as we seen happen. And I didn't catch that. Did they decline it, or they go ahead and take it?
As a player, you hate when it's accepted, because you do all that tough sledding for nothing. So players like to see those plays decline, especially when they get the first down.
And the Pharaohs going to go with an I formation here. 2 receivers to the bottom of the set. And Gold is going to drop back to pass and throw this one off. That is caught at the 40-yard line. He goes down. That is Deezer Powell on the catch.
Deezer Powell once again, and he had help from his O-line. They need to give him credit for that, because Xander had to wait for that zone to clear and get past that corner that was sitting over there waiting in the zone. As soon as he did, he got that ball off. Great job by the O-line with the protection.
And that is the first quarter of this game. Both teams tied up 7-7. You are watching this game on Simulation Football League, and that is on twitch.tv Simulation FL. Quarter number 2 is going to start. This game knotted up, as I said, and Xander Gold looking to lead the Pharaohs down the field further. I formation, 2 receivers to the top. 1 at the bottom of your screen. He's going to take this snap, drop back, deep drop, but he's going to get thrown down to the ground and sacked by Tony Roberto. And these defensive lines just playing great football so far this game.
Yeah, once again, New Orleans came out with every receiver that was on the field was running intermediate and deep routes. You need protection from your O-line to make those plays happen. He didn't get the protection he needed and was forced to eat that ball.
So the Pharaohs now facing a 2nd and 21 back inside of their own field position. Going to throw that ball, and it will be caught to take them up to the St. Louis 37, gaining that ground back that they lost there. That was Ermac Jackson on the catch.
Ermac Jackson, formerly of Oklahoma City, looking to make a statement here in his new home over here in New Orleans.
Jackson, so far on the season, before that catch, had 15 receptions, 211 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Just one of the players on this Pharaohs team with quite a bit of receiving yards. Excuse me. Center Gold going to drop back to pass and just throw that one away as the defensive line got a lot of pressure on him there.
They did. Tony Roberto, once again, he's been in the backfield all day today so far.
And with that throwaway, that will bring Irving Brown back on the field to punt this ball yet again. St. Louis able to hold out after that big sack they had.
Both of these defenses have tightened up here.
Brown going to punt this ball. It will be fair caught at about the 16-yard line. St. Louis getting the ball back for the first time in the second quarter.
Still a lot of football left, and you just wonder how much gas New Orleans has after playing 7 quarters of football just a week ago.
And Johnny Pickler will bring his offense back on the field. Start out with an I formation, 2 receivers to the top, tight end down to the bottom. New Orleans bringing in a whole lot of defensive linemen there. But Pickler's going to drop back to pass and throw this one, caught at about the 20-yard line and pushed out of bounds at the 28. That catch was made by Cody Scott, the man who has the touchdown earlier in the game for St. Louis.
New Orleans came out showing blitz. Everyone backed out of it. O-line settled in. Everyone communicated about who was blocking who, and they had plenty of time to get that out route.
Pickler will have Dawson offset in the backfield. 1 receiver to the top, 2 to the bottom, drop back to pass and throw this one. That one is caught. Nobody near him, but able to catch up and get the tackle at the 44-yard line. And that was Chase Earl on the reception.
As you alluded to earlier, prior to this game, 1 catch for 5 yards, and he's already doubled that or tripled that his production so far this season. That one on a corner route, just over the outstretched hands of the defender there for New Orleans. Well, I'm in the hood.
And Pickler, lucky he was able to get that ball up high. Rolleman Hood with 1 interception so far this season, but was taken for 21 yards. It's going to be an I formation for the Gladiators offense. This one handed off to Diesel Dawson, who's going to power ahead for a gain of 6.
He didn't get first contact until he was 5 yards downfield. That interior of that line did a great job. The center actually turned himself sideways and got him a big hole to get through there.
And they will come back with a tight set, 2 receivers to the bottom, Diesel Dawson to the left, but this one's going to be thrown and get just short of the 3rd down. I don't know if I like that call personally. It looked like the ball would have crossed the line, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think he was just short there, just looking at it, in my opinion. I don't think he got the 1st down. You like to see them travel beyond the sticks before making that break on the route, but we'll see what they can do. They come out in a heavy set here on 3rd and inches.
And this ball is going to be handed off to Diesel Dawson, who is going to get the 1st down, just gaining 1, but that was all he needed to continue this drive.
Just over beyond the 1st down marker, Bryce Lincoln once again making a name for himself. This rookie here is playing great today.
And with that 1st down, Johnny Pickler will be able to stay on the field with his offense. Hand this ball off to Diesel Dawson yet again, who is going to fight a couple defenders, but only end up with a gain of 2.
Yeah, it looked promising from that at the start, but the right defensive tackle for New Orleans was able to push him back inside to his help.
New Orleans using a lot of gang tackles to take down Diesel Dawson so far. This formation with split backs. Pickler under center, 2 receivers at the bottom of your screen. He's going to drop back to pass and throw that one to the slot receiver on that play. He's going to get tackled. It will now be a 3rd and 2 at the New Orleans 25.
New Orleans has showed a lot of man defense today. They came out with it again, and the way to counter that is to send that receiver across the field. It's hard to defend.
And that was Sean Harrelson yet again. Harrelson being a good target for Pickler early in this game. He's going to drop back to pass and throw another one. That one caught by, I believe, Cody Scott, who's going to take it to the 13-yard line before he goes down.
Yeah, he had Cody Scott open as well as Chase Earl on that play. He could have just picked either one of them and threw the ball to him. It would have been a first down. Not much opposition there on that play.
And you got to love as a quarterback when you have a quick and big guy like Cody Scott to throw this ball to. Diesel Dawson going to be offset to the left, 2 receivers to the top. Pickler's going to drop back and throw this ball. That one is caught, but he's going to slide out of bounds at about the 1-yard line.
Once again, New Orleans is coming out in a nickel defense this time, and I'm seeing why they're playing so much man, because there's a lot of miscommunication going on out there. He had 3 receivers open on that play, which is kind of hard to fathom here.
And Sean Harrelson, the receiver with that catch, just not able to keep himself balanced, and Gladiators knocking on the door here. Diesel Dawson offset to the left. Pickler going to drop back to throw, and that defensive line is just going to be too much for him. Sacked and taken back to the 7.
That was a jailbreak. Back in my day, they called that meet me at the quarterback. There were several defenders. I don't even know who to even credit the tackle to. I mean, I saw a number of them in there.
And New Orleans defensive line there helped to bail them out. Now 2nd and goal at the New Orleans 7. Pickler will take the snap, hand it off to Diesel Dawson, who will power ahead and get to the 3, just 2 yards short of where they started this down in distance. Now 3rd and goal.
It's always a smart decision when you can hand the ball off to Diesel Dawson and just watch him pick up a few yards. They're tough to get down here on the goal line with everyone packed in.
And split backs on this set. Pickler under center. He's going to drop back, hand it to Diesel Dawson, who's going to fight ahead for a touchdown.
Yeah, they're like a trap play right there, and the center and the left guard both got great blocks there and allowed Diesel just fend off one defender and walk in for the touchdown. 14-7 extra point pending.
And Diesel Dawson able to just power through like he has early on in this game and so far this season to score that touchdown for the Gladiators. Northup will look to kick in the extra point and take a 7-point lead with about 5 minutes left to go in this second quarter. The kick will be up, and it is good. So the Gladiators scoring another touchdown, this time off of the back of Diesel Dawson, and powering through the defensive line and really the rest of the defense.
Yeah, that drive there, I mean, you can see why New Orleans prefers man defense. I mean, you can take advantage with some of those crossing routes as I referred to earlier. They got to get straightened up and get to talking to their defensive coordinator, because there's some holes in that zone defense that they're trying to deploy.
Arrington takes this kickoff up to about the 23-yard line before he is tackled. And New Orleans making their way back out onto the field to try to get something done with the time left on the clock.
5 minutes left in this first half. You like to come away with points. You're on a road and you want to keep this thing manageable before things get away from you. We'll see how they close out this half.
Xander Gold under center with Reggie Streeter, the lone back. 3 receivers in the bunch. And this ball will be handed to Reggie Streeter, who will get just dropped in the backfield for a 2-yard loss.
I'm not sure what Reggie thought he saw there, but there was a hole open right up to the middle of the field behind his center. And for whatever reason, he cut to his right and had a lineman right there waiting to tackle him.
And that was Franco Sonata with that tackle for loss, or Sonati, I apologize. This time Xander Gold, empty backfield, 3 receivers to the bottom, 1 to the top. He's going to drop back for the pass and throw this one. That one almost picked off, and there is a penalty on the field.
It's going to be a pass interference as he was interrupted just as the ball was getting to him. It's going to be a first down here for New Orleans.
And as you said, that was a pass interference against the backup corner, Legs McGee. So a tough break for the Gladiators. Almost that ball almost picked off by Chuck Diesel, the inside linebacker.
It was almost picked off because the receiver was interfered with.
This time, New Orleans going with the I formation. Receiver in the slot to the top of the screen, 2 out wide. He's going to drop back to throw and dump this one off. But that ball will get nowhere. 2nd and 10 at the New Orleans 29.
Yeah, he played it safe there. I like to see him target the receiver there he had running that slant route. But perhaps he saw something that we didn't see that made him check the ball down to his tailback.
And that check down was to the fullback, Brock Targaryen, on that play. This time a heavy set, Reggie Streeter lone in the backfield. And this is going to be a pass. He drops back and checks down to Reggie Streeter, who's going to fight ahead for a gain of about 14, but there is a penalty yet again.
I think this is coming back. I think you got an ineligible receiver downfield. Oh, holding. That I didn't see.
And that is, as you said, a holding penalty, so it will come back. The Pharaohs getting a decent amount of field there, and the hold by tackle Mike Watson brings them back for no gain and actually a loss. Now 2nd and 20 at New Orleans 19. The Pharaohs going to go with an I formation. He's going to drop back to pass this ball. Stays in the pocket too long, and he is sacked. The defensive lines for both teams just staying strong early in this game and in the first half.
Absolutely. St. Louis, for what it's worth, has always had a formidable front line here, and they have came to play today. They pay those guys a lot of money, and they've been delivering for St. Louis for quite some time now.
And that is the 3rd sack of the season for defensive tackle Shane Masters. So, Masters knows pretty well how to get past these offensive linemen. Gold going to be alone in the backfield, 5 wide, looking to get something done here before the half ends. He steps back to scramble, and he gets sacked again. Tony Roberto with another sack.
This is getting out of hand here. 3rd and 23. You have no business trying to execute this first down with time ticking down to end this first half. Now your punter is sitting in the back of the end zone with not much room for error.
And this one has to end up having to be punted. The punter standing with his heels in the back of the end zone. And this one will be taken to about the 27. New Orleans in fantastic field position to start this drive.
And that's exactly what I was referring to there. Anytime you got your punter backed up like that, he's not able to get that punt off because the distance that he needs it's not there, and it's just terrible. This could not have ended any worse for New Orleans here. They need to find a way to at least limit this to 3.
And with that sack, New Orleans defense put in a really tough spot. Johnny Pickler under center, Diesel Dawson offset in the backfield. 2 receivers to the left side, and this is handed off to Dawson, who's going to fight ahead for a gain of 4 where that looked like it would be stuffed at the line of scrimmage.
This is going to go down a 2-minute warning. Diesel Dawson with a first down carry. That was a smart play there by the St. Louis offense. And things are looking real good for them right now. Can they close this half out with another score? Stay tuned.
And as you said, Diesel Dawson runs the ball to the 2-minute warning. Dawson has 8 attempts for 34 yards and a touchdown so far, averaging 4.3 yards per carry, just doing his job, really, for St. Louis.
Press look once again.
Going to have 2 runners in the backfield, 1 offset, and this ball's going to be handed off. He's going to break 1 tackle, fight ahead, and get stopped just before the line for the first down. 3rd and 1 at the 18.
That's so unfortunate because he was so quick to get to the outside. If he'd just stayed inside the guard, that might have been a house call.
And St. Louis taking their time with 1 minute and 35 seconds left on the clock. This a heavy set with two fullbacks and Diesel Dawson behind them. 1 receiver out wide. This ball is going to be handed off to Dawson, who's going to fight ahead for the first down, get to the 14-yard line before he is tackled.
Another smart call by the OC for this St. Louis squad here. Time is not even of the essence. You can take your time. You got, all 3 timeouts, and just do what you want. Take your time. I'll give it to Diesel again on this play.
And that ball is again handed to Dawson. Only a gain of 2 there. And
hurry up.
St. Louis will go hurry up. Pickler dropped back to throw this time. Throws that ball, and it is caught for a touchdown. That is Chase Earl with the touchdown reception.
Chase Earl said between games, 2 and 3, said, "Coach, don't forget about me. I only got 1 catch on this young season. I'm not happy with it. I know I'm a rookie, but I've paid my dues. I worked hard to get here, and he is putting on a show for these home fans."
And something to note, thanks to Mikey and Proda in the stats booth, Johnny Pickler is 11 for 11, 182 yards and 2 touchdowns so far in this game.
Pickler is looking to make up for the pick 6 that he threw in week 1 that it led his team to a loss, and they smell a victory here today. There's a lot of time left, so you can't get too far ahead of yourselves, but these St. Louis fans are at home, and they can smell his victory. Can they hang on?
And that extra point is up and good. So with 49 seconds left to go, New Orleans has to find something that they can get going here.
They do, but this deep in your end zone, let's see what Aaron Arrington can do. He's known for running back touchdowns. Can they corral him here?
And that kick is off and grabbed by Arrington about the 5-yard line. He's going to take this one up, but get tackled at the New Orleans 27. So with 45 seconds left to go, Xander Gold and the New Orleans offense coming about on the field. And you got to think they're probably just going to run this one out and take it into the locker room for halftime to get their adjustments.
You would think so, but it's all predicated on first down. First down is going to dictate how this drive goes.
Heavy set with Reggie Streeter, the lone back in the backfield. Xander Gold under center, going to snap this one and give it to Streeter, who's just stuffed behind the line for a loss of 1.
Yeah, St. Louis is you can see it on the sidelines. You can see it on the coaching staff. The fans are into it. This defense is jacked up.
And Chuck Diesel, the one credited for that tackle for loss on that last play. Now Xander Gold actually going to go empty backfield with 5 wide. Going to look to try to get something deep here before the half's done. It's going to be thrown, but they're going to say he did not get a foot down. 3rd and 11.
He did not, and it's unfortunate because he actually audibled out of that play. He had the receiver over the top open with no safety help over the top, and unfortunately for them, he ran an out route.
Xander Gold going to go empty backfield yet again. 5 receivers wide. Again, going to try to take a shot downfield with 10 seconds left in the first half. But he is sacked! And they're going to be... Then St. Louis is going to take a timeout, try to get the ball back.
That's a smart timeout. With that sack, like I said, Shane Masters is one of the best in the SFL. I don't care what no one says. That man has always produced, and I would call that timeout too. And here's why. I would send a house at this punter and try to get that punt blocked.
And Shane Masters getting his 2nd sack of the game, both of them coming in the 2nd quarter. And I believe both sacks have been when New Orleans has been backed up towards their own end zone.
They're playing this safe. They're not going to come out and go after the punter here.
They're going to look and see if Chase Earl can make some kind of return there, which he is not going to be able to. Stopped at the New Orleans 47. 1 second left to go.
He isn't, but there's time for a Hail Mary, and I wouldn't be surprised if St. Louis pulls the trigger and attempts one.
And this wouldn't be the first time this season that we have seen a last-second Hail Mary be successful in the SFL.
Tulsa did it. Can St. Louis?
So Johnny Pickler alone in the backfield. The New Orleans Pharaohs going to keep a lot of defensive backs out there. And he's going to throw this one deep. That one is tipped and picked off, but they're going to say he stepped out of bounds. So
he was out.
The half is going to end at a score of 21-7. The St. Louis Gladiators looking really good so far to get their first win on the season.
They're looking very good. And as I said earlier, these home fans are feeling it. They can smell blood. The defense is, man, they are elated out there. Shane Masters and company is getting pressure up front. The back end is holding up. They're playing great defense overall. New Orleans, on the other hand, they need to get some communication going here at halftime. There's plenty of time left in this game. They're down 2 scores, but there's still 22 minutes left on this game clock. Man-to-man defense they've been forced to play because in zone they just aren't communicating out there. Every time they step out in zone, there's been receivers wide open with a defender nowhere in the zip code. So they need to get things straightened out. They got, as I said, plenty of time to do it, and they just need to get out on one page and figure out how they're going to defend this St. Louis offense here in the second half.
And while we're speaking of St. Louis, their rushing defense is done as they have all season. Reggie Streeter having 8 attempts, but only 5 yards in this game so far.
St. Louis is jacked up, and you know what? What tops the matter off? They're 5th in the SFL coming into this week in rushing yards per game. Diesel Dawson is in halftime. He just can't wait to get out of that locker room because he knows if things go to par, he's going to be getting a lot of yards in the second half, going to have a chance to pad his stats and get everything up even more than this today. And he's looking, he can't wait to get out that locker room. I promise you right now, he's in there just clapping his hands and keeping himself motivated, trying to stay hydrated because he doesn't want to come off the field.
And something that we did forget to note is that Hail Mary attempt for Pickler was the first incompletion he's thrown all game. So far going 11 for 12, 182 yards and 2 touchdowns. But let's not forget Xander Gold only throwing 7 for 10, 113 yards, so not too far behind, as the Pharaohs look to kick this ball off to start the second half. Chase Earl's going to get that ball at about the 1-yard line, take it out, and dodge a man, get to about the 28-yard line before he will be tackled. So Johnny Pickler gets the chance to come back out after halftime.
Nice return, decent starting field position. St. Louis can really put this game away here in the second half with this running game.
And they will go with a weak I formation, the fullback offset to the left, 2 receivers at the bottom of the screen. Pickler will drop back and throw that ball. That one is caught, taken down at the 50-yard line. I believe that is yet again tight end Cody Scott.
Yeah, St. Louis, I didn't think that pass was going to get complete. I thought it was going to get batted down. It was tight. There was a tight window there, but he was able to get it over the outstretched arms of the defender there.
And Cody Scott so far in this game targeted 4 times, caught all 4 of them, and has 104 yards plus that early touchdown to start the game. Gladiators going to go heavy set, 1 receiver to the top of your screen. The Pharaohs also bringing in and stacking the box. This one's going to be handed off to Diesel Dawson, who's going to break a tackle, keep going. He's finally tackled at about the 29-yard line. For a second, it didn't look like anybody was going to be able to catch him.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for New Orleans, too, because it looked like they had that play dialed up from the start of the snap. But they came out in a stretch play, which I didn't think I seen ran once in his first half of St. Louis. Perhaps they weren't expecting it. He was able to get a good chunk of yardage there.
And that tackle made by Dante West to save what could have been easily another touchdown for Diesel Dawson in the St. Louis offense.
St. Louis is all representing the chat. They got a bunch of guys in there. You can see their excitement.
Heavy set, Pickler under center, 1 receiver to the top of the screen. He's going to drop back and hand this ball to Dawson, who's going to power ahead and get a gain of 7 before he is taken down.
Let me tell you about the vision of Diesel Dawson right there. That play was designed to go out to the left once again. He saw a hole in the middle of the field, decided to cut it up because the fastest way to the goal line is a straight line, and there was no one there in the middle of the field, so he decided to cut to his right and get 7 yards on that. Nice running there by Diesel Dawson.
And they are going to go a tight set with two receivers at the top of the screen. Dawson by himself in the backfield. This one going to be thrown and caught, taken down at the 20-yard line for 3rd and 1. Cody Scott yet again.
It looks like St. Louis has been looking at someone else's playbook. I'm not going to say any names, but that's a staple of their passing game out of that same set.
And St. Louis will go back to the heavy set, one receiver to the top of the screen. So far been successful for them on this drive. Going to take the snap and hand it off to Diesel Dawson again, who's going to get stopped before he can cross the first down line. 4th and inches.
4th and inches on a 19-yard line. They're probably settled for 3 here, but I wouldn't be surprised if they attempted to go for it.
And the player making that tackle there was Week 3 signee Nelson Lanzano Jr. for the Pharaohs. So the Gladiators looking to kick the field goal and take the 3 points. This kick will be attempted by Graham Northrop. This kick is up, and it is good. The score now 24-7. The Gladiators just rolling.
They took off a good chunk of time off this clock here. I believe it's about 3 minutes here on this drive, and all predicated on the running of Diesel Dawson.
And you got to think that New Orleans is looking for some kind of score this next drive. It's getting not quite to crunch time for them yet, but you got to get something on the board the way that St. Louis has been playing so far.
I feel bad for the players who've played almost 2 games practically last week, just a week ago. But you know who doesn't have any sympathy for them? St. Louis Gladiators. They could care less. That's not their problem. They are here looking to get their first game, their first win of this season here. And New Orleans, time is not quite of the essence yet, but they need to put some points on the board on this drive.
And Arrington's return was stopped at the 28-yard line. So Xander Gold and the New Orleans offense coming out to the field trying to get something done. This is going to be an I formation. 2 receivers to the bottom of your screen, 1 out wide to the top. The ball handed to Reggie Streeter, who will gain about 2 before being tackled.
Yeah, that play was designed to go right up the middle, and he thought he had a path there, but his center was being blocked up. Had to cut off to his right where the defender was waiting for him.
And Reggie Streeter, so far this game, not even averaging 1 yard per carry. So St. Louis defensive line and linebackers just making this a tough game for him. I formation yet again. This one going to be handed off to Reggie Streeter, who is going to be stuffed for no gain.
This front 4 of St. Louis has came to play today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, these guys are psyched up. Shane Masters and company, they are pretty much dictating the pace of this game so far.
And that was yet another tackle for Tony Roberto. This time Xander Gold going to have to go empty backfield with 5 wide to try and get this first down at 3rd and 8. To take this snap, drop back to pass, throw this one deep. This one is caught at the 41-yard line before he is tackled.
That is unfortunate for St. Louis. They should have been off the field right there. They came out in a cover 2 look, but it was actually man. Both their safeties are lined up inside the hash marks. That should have been a bat down at the worst condition. At best, he should have blown that receiver up, and they should have been off the field.
That's just a fantastic catch by Deezer Powell. New Orleans offense going to go I formation, this time with 2 receivers to the top of the set. Xander Gold still under center. Going to hand this one to Reggie Streeter, who's going to break ahead for about a gain of 8. They give him 7.
Anytime you come out in a press look with those corners jammed right up against the safeties, the best way to attack it is with a quick hitting run play, whether it be a dive, trap, off tackle, something quick. Because those linebackers, if they get held up by that center, it could be a house call.
And New Orleans going to attempt the heavy set now. 1 receiver to the top. This one handed to Reggie Streeter, who just gets absolutely clotheslined there for a gain of about 1.
He made the tackle, but his defensive line made the play. I'm telling you guys, Defensive coordinators love to see stuff like this. They don't get credited with the stat, but they're the ones that are making the play happen. That front line here is dominating this game today.
The New Orleans offense looking at a 3rd and 2. Reggie Streeter to the right side of gold, 2 receivers to the bottom of the set. He's going to take this snap and drop back. This one thrown, almost picked off. Looked like a really bad choice to throw as the tight end was taking an in route wide open.
You took the words right out of my mouth. He ran a dig route 5 yards downfield. Y'all seen Clifton is paid a lot of money. He was wide open. That should have been a first down for New Orleans. Instead, here they are punting the ball right back to a hot St. Louis offense.
And Austin Powers actually looking to kick the field goal here and at least put some points on the board for the Pharaohs to start this second half. This kick is up, and it is soaring through. It is good. So the score now 24-10, and New Orleans has to give St. Louis the ball back.
Yeah, they are, but they did get points. They're down 2 scores. There's a lot of game left to play. It's smart there to go for the field goal there. Take points when you can. Like I said, it's a 2-score game. A lot of time left. This game is not yet over.
5 minutes and 23 seconds left in the third quarter of this game as New Orleans kicks the ball off. And that one is taken at about the 2-yard line, going to be ran out. His spin move and gets up to about the 29-yard line as he is taken down to the ground.
Yeah, he's been getting them great starting field position here all day, Chase Earl. He's making his presence felt in both the return game as well as receiving here today.
And Johnny Pickler and Diesel Dawson will bring this St. Louis offense back out onto the field, going yet again with this heavy set, 1 receiver to the top. Pickler going to take the snap, hand it off to Dawson, who's going to juke past one guy and get about 5 yards on that play before getting tackled.
Once again, that play was designed to go to the left there. New Orleans had it blocked up pretty well. He saw a hole up the front, right in the middle, and made a quick cut to the right and got 5 yards out of it. Diesel Dawson has vision, which you needed from a running back here. Heavy set once again.
Yeah, St. Louis proving that if something's working, then there's no real point to change it. Johnny Pickler going to audible out of the play, change it to something else, hand it off to Diesel Dawson, who's going to power ahead, break a tackle, and get the first down.
Oh my goodness! Did you see? He's a big man, and he just stopped dead in his tracks, and cut back to the right, and got that first down. I didn't catch the number of the defender there, number 54. There it is. He was right in position to get to him, but he had to cut back to his right. And once he did, there was a blocker there waiting to knock him to the turf, and he got the first down.
And 54 is Nelson Lozano Jr., not able to make that tackle. Going to go with an I formation here for St. Louis. This ball is handed off to Diesel Dawson, who's going to get stopped at the line of scrimmage to gain just 1.
Yeah, this time the defense was able to get there and get him on the ground there. One of the few times they've been able to slow down his running game. Can they keep it up and get the ball back to their offense?
And Ray West seemed to just throw the offensive lineman off there to be able to get Diesel Dawson. They're going to go with Dawson as the lone back, 2 receivers to the top and 1 to the bottom out wide. Pickler going to drop back to pass, dump off to Dawson, who's going to just stiff arm one man into the ground and fight for a gain of about 2.
If you're going to go to Diesel Dawson in that situation, you'd like to see the quarterback pat that ball another second longer to allow those receivers to get downfield, force those corners to drop back into coverage, and Diesel Dawson could have got another 5 yards there.
St. Louis going to go with I formation on 3rd and 7, 2 receivers to the bottom of the set. Pickler going to drop back to pass. He's going to step up into the pocket, but gets sacked and taken to the ground.
Yeah, I didn't see anyone open on that play. Neither did Johnny, and I don't mind that sack there because your defense has been playing pretty well. You don't want to force yourself into a mistake there, but at some point, I'd rather have him just throw that ball away than eat the sack, but it's better to do that than to make a mistake throwing the ball in the heavy coverage. I didn't see anyone open downfield.
And that is the first sack of the night for Chris Leon. Granted, there has been plenty of sacks for both teams on both sides of the ball. They're going to take this punt and send it away. Arrington going to call for a fair catch and field that one at the 32-yard line.
Got to be frustrating for Aaron Arrington here to have to fair catch that ball. He's trying to make a play for his offense here, who's been pretty stagnant here tonight since this first quarter. But, yeah, you want to force yourself into a mistake. We'll see if New Orleans can get something going here, keep themselves in this game.
And New Orleans going to start out with the heavy set. Reggie Streeter alone in the backfield. He's going to drop back to pass, dump this off to Reggie Streeter, who's got plenty of land. Going to take that ahead to the 39-yard line for a 2nd and 3.
For a running back, the best you can ask for is one-on-one in the open field. He got great blocking downfield from 2 offensive linemen. A third tight end came over there to help, and it's just him one-on-one. He could not make that defender miss.
And the Pharaohs going to go yet again with the heavy set. Reggie Streeter alone in the backfield, handed off, and powered ahead for about a gain of 10 or so. And Reggie Streeter finally getting those numbers up, now averaging about 1.8.
Still not what you're looking for in terms of production, but Reggie Streeter may just have to be the glue that this team needs to get some points on the board here on this drive.
And you got to wonder if the St. Louis Gladiators defense is starting to show signs of being worn down as often as New Orleans offense has been on the field. Going to go with a heavy set weak eye. Reggie Streeter going to get the ball and tackled at the 50-yard line for a gain of 4.
There was a gain of 4, but you just wonder how much more it could have been. Tonight, he just does not seem to have the vision that Diesel Dawson has displayed thus far. If he'd have cut that ball to the right, he could have got another couple of yards out of that. Helped out his quarterback.
So New Orleans going to come back out yet again in the heavy set. Reggie Streeter again lone in the backfield. No receivers out wide. This one going to be Streeter, who's going to fight ahead for 2. And that was a lucky play there as the defensive line for the Gladiators just powered that offensive line.
They did, but at this point, it looks like Shane Masters and company is just peeling their ears back looking for the quarterback because they ran right by Reggie Streeter.
And they're going to go with Streeter alone in the backfield, 2 receivers to the bottom of your screen. Gold going to drop back and dump that pass off. It's caught for a first down at the 43-yard line.
Yeah, that's the play he should have thrown on first down on the last drive before they had to settle for a field goal when they had Yassine Clifton open. This time he found Badu Azalani, was able to get the first down.
Xander Gold so far with 153 yards in the game and 1 touchdown. Going to go with 2 receivers to the bottom of the screen. Reggie Streeter alone in the backfield. Gold under center, going to drop back to pass, scan this field and dump it off to Streeter, who's just going to get a yard on the play. I would have thought it was actually at the line of scrimmage, but good job for him to fight ahead.
Franco Sonata was right in the quarterback's lap, was forcing him to dump that ball off, and he showed his hustle, grit, and determination. He peeled off from the quarterback after he almost knocked him down, forcing that ball out, and made the tackle. That guy gets an A for effort tonight.
And we are headed into the 4th quarter of this game. The score 24-10. Put your 4s up in the chat. Xander Gold going to drop back to pass this wide open. He's taken into the end zone for a touchdown. That was Badir Ajlani getting that score.
Second catch on this drive. This one is a long one and resulted in a touchdown. And just like that, the fans, you can hear a pin drop in here. They were just all over the place, being with excitement. I'm not sure if the beer is kicking in or what, but that touchdown just silenced this crowd, and the St. Louis faithful is beginning to wonder, could this be happening yet again? New Orleans is an extra point away from tying this thing up. From making this a 1-score game.
As you said, all of a sudden, they're looking at a 1-score game with plenty of time left to go in this game as the 4th quarter has just started. Austin Powers awaiting the kick. The snap is up. It is kicked and good. So the score now 24-17. New Orleans suddenly looking way better off and plenty of time left to go.
Yeah, they got Reggie Streeter going on that drive there early and finished it up with the long bomb late. St. Louis had to pay some extra attention to him, dropped another man in the box, and got Badur wide open there on a touchdown.
And they're going to kick this ball off. Chase Earl awaiting it. Catch the ball at about the 8-yard line. Going to take it up and just get stuffed at the 25-yard line.
Yeah, he's been getting to the 30 and beyond thus far up until this one. He got plowed there and introduced to the turf at the 25-yard line. St. Louis, can they put a drive together here and regain some of that confidence?
And Johnny Pickler and company will come back out, starting this drive in the heavy set. One receiver to the top of the screen, one we've seen fairly often this game for the Gladiators. Pickler going to take the snap and hand it off to Diesel Dawson, who's going to fight ahead and gain 6 on that play to get to the 30-yard line.
That's the third time he's cut up and ran straight up the middle of the field. You just wonder what kind of line stunts that New Orleans is running here tonight, because that's, like to say, the third or fourth time he's cut that ball up and went straight up field.
They're going to go with the I formation for this play. Johnny Pickler under center, reading the defense. It looks like he might have changed the play there. They'll drop back to pass, throw that one that is caught up to the 42-yard line. Chase Earl with yet another reception.
Chase Earl made the reception, but I'm not sure about the decision, because he had a receiver down over the top and he had another one over in the flat. There were much safer throws there. Pickler needs to settle down and takes what the defense is giving him.
And the Gladiators going to stick with the I formation. He's going to step back and hand that ball to Diesel Dawson. Going to hop one defender and take this ball 3 yards to the 45-yard line.
The nose tackle just bulldozed the center on that play and knocked him on his keister. But thankfully for him, he was still able to get 3 yards out of that.
And the Gladiators looking at a 2nd and 7, a weak I formation, 2 receivers out wide. Pickler going to hand this ball to Dawson yet again. There's a flag on the play, but he did not get anywhere.
I did not see where the flag came from, but the fact that they put it off on first down at the snap of the ball, I'm going to assume it was encroachment. Oh, it's a hold. Uh-oh.
They're going to call that one holding on the offense. That is the tackle, Bruce C., getting called for that penalty.
That flag came out at the snap of the ball. I can't imagine him holding him just that quick. What could have happened? I have to go back and see that play. I think that's a bad call.
The Gladiators going to go with the I formation, 2 receivers to the top of the formation. Johnny Pickler under center. He's going to drop back to pass, scan the field, almost get sacked, but get this ball off, taken for a first down and more, up to the 30, finally gets tackled.
Yeah, I was just about to comment on how St. Louis was now forced to come out and pass this ball to get a first down and try to keep this momentum. And yet, sure enough, Johnny Pickler delivered. He stood under pressure with the defender right in his lap and was able to deliver a catchable ball, although it was wobbling to get there. He, like I said, he remained calm and got that ball downfield and got a first down for St. Louis. How unfortunate for New Orleans as they could smell the momentum swinging after that penalty.
And Sean Harrelson, the one on that reception there, doing his best Diesel Dawson impression, just running over the defenders, fighting for more yards. Pickler's going to drop back to pass. Heat coming, but he gets this ball off. Yet again, Sean Harrelson to fight ahead for about 12 yards, get the ball to the 14-yard line.
That's unfortunate for New Orleans because they were expecting to get pressure on that play. They did not get it. That receiver was open at that snap of the ball because there was going to be no one there. The X receiver ran a 9 route straight down the field, had to wait for the cornerback to clear that zone. He dumped it off, first down, St. Louis. If they get pressure, that pass hadn't even gotten off.
And they're going to go with 2 receivers to the top of the screen. Pickler going to drop back to snap, step up into the pocket. Plenty of time, dumps this one off to Dawson, who's going to get about 3 yards on that play, fight up to the 12-yard line.
You know what? I'm going to give Pickler their credit for getting that pass off and dumping it off, but a clock in his head should have went off a long time ago. He was sitting there, and I was just waiting for the defender to clear that guard there and knock Pickler down. But he got help from his old line and got 3 yards out of it.
Going to go with the weak I formation. Trellis Blanton to the left. This one handed to Diesel Dawson, who's going to bounce it back out to the outside and gain about 3 on that play.
Once again, I'm not sure how Diesel got 2 yards out of that. That should have been a no gain at worst for New Orleans, but he was able to somehow stop his momentum, get to the outside, and get 2 yards out of that. Third and 5 here. Don't make a mistake here, Johnny.
And the Gladiators have New Orleans backed up to their end zone, looking at a 3rd and 5. Pickler going to drop back to throw. That one caught and take it into the end zone with ease.
Sean Harrelson is introducing himself to the stat sheet just a bit further here as well. New Orleans once again with a 2-score lead. Johnny on the spot there, making an intelligent decision. His receiver ran an in route 5 yards in, wide open. New Orleans, was backing up into the end zone for whatever apparent reason. And now St. Louis once again finds themselves with a 2-score lead with time of the essence here for New Orleans.
And Sean Harrelson with his first touchdown on the season. That drive going forever for the Gladiators. That was a 9-play, 83-yard drive that took about 4 minutes off of the clock. The extra point is up and good. We are looking at a 31-17 game with 6 minutes and 46 seconds left to go.
The crowd, I'm guessing the beer has started to subside, ladies and gentlemen, and they are feeling it once again. This crowd is rowdy. They can smell this W is right around the corner. Just got to find a way to hold on here for this victory.
Northup looking to kick the ball. Arrington waiting back to receive it. This ball is up and caught at about the 5-yard line. Arrington going to take it, bounce it to the outside, and spin, getting to the 26-yard line before he is tackled.
Aaron Arrington is having a slow start to his season production-wise with these kickoff returns. He's a dangerous weapon who has yet to become unleashed here so far early on in the season.
And Xander Gold will look to come out with the New Orleans offense and try to get something going with the time they have left. I formation in the backfield, 2 receivers to the bottom of the screen. This one handed to Reggie Streeter, who's going to gain 3 before being tackled.
I'm not asking for a hurry-up offense right here, but they need to pick up the tempo. 6.5 minutes left in this game.
And you got to wonder if New Orleans should look to maybe not abandon the run right now, but loosen up and throw the ball a little more with the way this defensive line for St. Louis, has been playing. This one handed off to Streeter, who's just stopped in the backfield. That's a loss of about 4 yards. They're just getting nowhere on the ground.
Shane Masters has came to play today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, this front line, I think they ran a twist there, if I saw that correctly. I had to see a replay once again. But they were in a backfield. You don't see it happen like that too often on a run play where you got 3 guys in the backfield waiting on a tailback. That's unheard of.
So New Orleans goes from a 2nd and 7 to a 3rd and 11. Xander Gold, lone man in the backfield, drops back to pass and sacked. Just no chance to get the ball off there.
Once again, Franco Sonato, I think that's his 2nd sack on the day. That had to be a miscommunication issue because he was back there at the moment he hiked the ball, and now New Orleans is forced to punt here. Knowing time is taken away, but in this situation, you have to do it. It's so unfortunate. St. Louis is smelling blood here.
And Chase Earl awaiting the punt from New Orleans. St. Louis looking to put even more points on the board here if they can. This punt is called for the fair catch at about the 48-yard line, and Johnny Pickler and the Gladiators offense will march their way back out onto the field.
I remember after week 1, a tweet came out to Johnny and told him that this is a very humbling league. He threw a pick 6 at the conclusion of that week 1 game that led to a loss. Tonight, he is 18 of 19 with 3 touchdowns. The only incompletion was the Hail Mary attempt, and he is redeeming himself today.
The I formation ball will be handed off to Diesel Dawson, who will gain 2 yards before being tackled at midfield.
Johnny needs to remain calm, rely on Diesel Dawson in this running game. This ball, I wouldn't even allow it to even leave the ground here. I would hand it off to Diesel Dawson once again and let that clock ticking away another 40 seconds.
And St. Louis looking at the I formation yet again, 2 receivers to the top of the screen. Johnny Pickler looks to make 2 adjustments at the line. He's going to drop back to pass. This one throw deep, and it's intercepted.
Oh,
and
my goodness.
It looked like Rolliman Hood was just in the perfect placement, and then Chase Earl just seemed kind of confused, wasn't sure if he caught the ball, and kind of ran around him for a second.
Rolliman was
making the
beat
tackle.
early on the play. Rolliman was beat for a long pass, and he redeems himself here today. And just as I was giving Pickler credit, he throws a pick 6 and cover 3 protection. He has no need to throw that ball.
And Xavier Gold, lone man in the backfield, 5 wide, going to drop back to pass. This one thrown, and it is almost intercepted after a tip.
When they lined up there, I thought that was a touchdown. I thought he could get it over the outstretched arms and it'd be a foot race to the end zone. But fortunately for St. Louis, he was able to get back and knock that ball away. I thought that was 6 the second he snapped the ball.
And Evan Arthur, the man that almost picked the ball, but actually Freeman Peltier able to get his hand up and kind of smack that ball back the other way. So New Orleans facing a 2nd and 10. Xavier Gold going to come out in an I formation, 2 receivers to the bottom of your screen.
He's audibling here.
He's going to drop back to pass, look and hit the quick out route. He's just going to fall out of bounds to make it a 3rd and 6.
That's a smart play. You don't want to force it. The defense is playing back. They're not even playing the sticks at this point. They're just trying to keep everything in front of them. And he took what the defense gave him, audible to a 5-yard out, and now it's 3rd and 6 rather than 3rd and 10.
And Ermac Jackson, the receiver on that last play, Xander Gold going to go empty backfield, 5 men wide, and take this snap. He's going to drop back to pass, throw that one to another out route, and that one's going to be caught again by Ermac Jackson.
St. Louis came out in a cover 3 look, and I was waiting for him to hit the post, but apparently they didn't have anything in that route tree there to go there because the post was open, and they're going to challenge this play.
And St. Louis looking, as you said, to challenge that one, saying that he did not get 1 foot in bounds, and I don't know if there's anything to overturn this. I guess we'll have to watch the replay.
It looked close, but I don't want to speculate either way. Let's see.
No, he
clearly he got that right foot down.
It looked clearly like he had a toe tap there before he turned around, but I guess we'll see what R62 has to say.
Yeah, they gave it to him.
And they overturned the play.
Yep. I thought he got that foot down, but they gave it to St. Louis there.
So they will say that New Orleans did not get that catch, and they now have to face a 4th and 6 with only 4 minutes left to go in this game. They have to go for it. Xander Gold, lone man in the backfield, 5 receivers wide.
Man coverage.
He's going to scan the field, take the snap, drop back to pass, throw this one, and that's going to be caught, but he's short. Badir Ajloni not able to turn upfield and get that extra yard.
And right now, walking off the field, I guarantee you, Yassine Clifton is having a fit. He's going to be yelling at his quarterback. He's going to be yelling at the offensive coordinator because he was open on the 8-yard dig route. Once again, for the 2nd time in this game, the quarterback didn't see him. That was a 1st down easily. And now New Orleans defense is out here back on the field. They need to burn these timeouts and get St. Louis off the field.
And Johnny Pickler and the St. Louis offense going in the heavy set. 1 receiver to the bottom. Pickler's going to hand this one off. It's going to be bounced to the outside for a gain of 3.
Why New Orleans is not burning a timeout here, I do not know. You're down 2 scores. You just limited him to a 3-yard gain. The most success you had on that stretch play all game. You should be burning a timeout here.
And out of the huddle, the Gladiators will come back to the heavy set. Receiver to the top of the screen. New Orleans defense going to make some adjustments pre-play and just load that line. Pickler taking his time, letting the clock run down before snapping this ball. That's going to be handed off to Dawson, who's going to get stopped in the backfield.
New Orleans is still allowing this clock to run. They're down 2 scores. I don't understand it.
And as you said, the clock just rolling, now getting close to 3 minutes and 15 seconds left to go. And this offense doesn't seem in any hurry to snap the ball.
And they shouldn't be.
Gladiators looking to face a 3rd and 8, going with an I formation, 2 receivers to the top of your screen. The Pharaohs looking like going with a 4-3 defense. This ball's going to be snapped and handed to Diesel Dawson, who's going to get to the edge, but only get about 2 yards on that play.
So New Orleans is going to allow this clock to run, and from this point on, with this spot on the field on 27, it would be a 44-yard field goal attempt. If they hit it, this game is pretty much over. If they miss, they're going to get great field position to New Orleans. Would you punt it here, or would you take the field goal attempt?
I think personally I would take the field goal attempt. I mean, you're still up 2 scores with about 2 minutes left to go, and that looks like what they are going to try and do. Northup awaits the snap to attempt this field goal. The snap is there. The kick is up and going. It is good. A 43-yard field goal to make the game 34-17 with just 2 minutes and 11 seconds left to go.
2:11 left, all 3 timeouts. In my opinion, they need Aaron Arrington to come through with a punt, with a kickoff return of his life right here to get, if they have any chance at coming back and winning this game. Aaron Arrington needs to block out the noise, figure out whatever it is that's been limiting him in his production today, and find a way to kick this ball off and return it for a touchdown here.
And St. Louis will kick this ball off. It will go deep towards Arrington, who gets the ball at about the 5-yard line, going to take it straight up the middle and get tackled at about the 23.
He hasn't gotten a blocking all day long on these kickoff returns. Didn't get it there. The plus side for New Orleans is it's on the plus side of the 2-minute warning, so they technically have 4 timeouts here. But they need, if they're going to make something happen, it needs to happen right now.
And the Pharaohs looking to put this game on the shoulders of quarterback Xander Gold. Try to get him to do something. He's going to check out of the play and change some things around. 2 receivers at the top, drop back to pass. He's hit as he thrown, but that is caught with one hand. He's going to keep going. There's nobody nearby. He's at the 20, at the 10, and that is a touchdown.
Oh my goodness. You see, Clifton is looking over at his coordinator right now, I guarantee it, saying, see, coach, you should have gave me the ball when I asked for it a long time ago. You guys paid me a lot of money to come over here. The quarterback was actually hit as he threw, which made it a hard catch in the first place. Yet the big man is able to rumble and stumble downfield, turn on the, I guess you can call them the jets, and get to the end zone. It seemed like it took him forever, but he's a big man. It should anyway. He was able to get tackled just inside the end zone there. Touchdown, New Orleans.
And that will bring us to the 2-minute warning as they get ready to kick the extra point. That was a one-play, 77-yard passing touchdown to Yassine Clifton. Just what the Pharaohs needed to have all the time on the clock they can get.
Just what they needed. Just under 2 minutes here. They have all 3 timeouts. With this extra point pending, the special teams coach is on the sidelines trying to dial up his best attempt to recover this onside kick. How can he line these guys up?
And the extra point for Powers is up and good. It is now a 10-point game with just 1 minute and 55 seconds left to go. And they will line up for the onside kick. Powers making sure his players are ready before he kicks this ball. It bounces off the ground and easily fielded by St. Louis.
Easily indeed. They got a favorable bounce there. It bounced right into his lap. He didn't have to go far at all. Hootie Hawkins, who was beat earlier, he was another defender who was beat earlier, was able to come down with that ball.
So St. Louis will look to take the field and try to just run the rest of this clock out. New Orleans with all 3 timeouts, though.
Here comes a stretch play to the right.
It's a heavy set, and they run Dawson right up the middle. He's going to power ahead for a first down as New Orleans takes that first timeout.
I think it's the first time I've seen him take that heavy set to the strong side and take it up the middle. But he did, and he caught New Orleans snapping as they were probably anticipating the stretch as well. and he got a first down.
And that offensive line just able to open that field up and really let them blast through there. So the offense is going to come back out still in that heavy set. One receiver to the top of the field. Pickler going to scan the defense and take the snap. This one handed off to Dawson. He's going to bounce to the outside and get to the line of scrimmage before he is dropped. New Orleans takes yet another timeout.
Yeah, time is not on their side right now. They got one timeout left, 2nd and 10. They can bleed a lot of this clock away here.
And you got to think that we're going to see the same thing we had the last couple plays, as St. Louis will come out with the heavy set yet again. The only difference is the receiver is at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, he just flipped it.
Pickler going to hand this ball to Dawson, who's going to miss a defender and take it up to the 24-yard line, now facing a 3rd and 5.
3rd and 5. New Orleans just burned their last timeout, so they got to be communicating with one another and remind each other, hey, there's no timeouts to burn. We need to find a way to get St. Louis to kick a field goal attempt here and give our offense at least about a minute here to get something going.
Going with the heavy set yet again, a receiver to the top of the screen. New Orleans looks to stack the box as Pickler takes the snap, hands it to Dawson. Dawson going to break ahead, get 4th and inches, so just short of it, 5 yards.
I thought that was a first down at the snap of the ball, but they were able to corral him and bring him down just short. St. Louis, now this is going to be a booth review here. They're going to actually challenge the spot and determine if he actually got that first down. I think he's going to be short, which is actually going to favor New Orleans because it's going to stop the clock.
And it looked like he was right up against the line, but it would be really hard, I believe, to overturn that.
Oh, they might give him that first down.
The ball did appear to cross the line from that camera angle, so we will see what happens here.
Oh, they did not give it to him. So the call's going to stand. I thought that was a first down. These refs have made 2 bad calls tonight, but don't tell it to New Orleans. They're thankful for this right now. They're going to get a field goal attempt out of St. Louis here. They're going to take the 3. Yeah, they're going to take the 3 with this field goal attempt so to be successful. And this game is not quite over with yet, ladies and gentlemen.
Colin Northup back for the field goal. This would make it a 13-point game and make it really hard for New Orleans to come back at this point. The snap is back. Kick is up. And it is good for 36 yards. So the score now 37-24 with just a minute and 25 seconds left to go in this game.
As I said, it's unfortunate for St. Louis because with that challenge, the clock stops. So it essentially gave New Orleans an additional free 30 seconds without the need of having to burn a timeout. If Aaron Arrington can somehow step up and he can get the blocking that he has not gotten all day long, there will be a kickoff return and an onside successful attempt away from even winning this game.
And the kick is off for Northup. This one fielded at the 5 for Arrington. Going to try to bounce it to the outside, spin back into the middle, get to the 31-yard line before he's tackled.
That's the best starting field position he's got all day. But for a moment there, I thought he was one more successful spin away from making that an interesting game here. No timeouts. Do they have something in the playbook to make this game exciting and make this crowd nervous once again?
And New Orleans will go with the empty backfield, 5 wide. Shane Masters and the Gladiators defense looking to get this stop. As Xander Gold dropped back to pass, this one hit and taken down at the 49-yard line. But New Orleans going to go with the hurry up. Xander Gold gets the play set while he waits for the offensive line. Takes the snap, drops back, looks and throws.
Oh!
Almost picked off, but it's caught.
Oh my God!
And ran into the end zone. That catch by Deezer Powell to bring it within a touchdown, pending the extra point.
I'm going to tell you what St. Louis, what happened there. The quarterback hurried up to the line of scrimmage, and I'm telling you, the center was not even set yet. As soon as he squatted down, that ball was out. He grabbed it and literally threw it to his quarterback. I guarantee you St. Louis was caught napping there, and all of a sudden, we are a successful onside attempt away of New Orleans getting this ball back and potentially winning this game with a touchdown. This game is not over with. And St. Louis is sitting there saying to themselves, could this be happening yet again? This game was all but over.
And Evan Arthur on that play decided to try to dive and make a play on that football, and that really set Deezer Powell up to take that into the end zone.
Deezer Powell has made a living out of making cornerbacks look silly in this league.
The kick by Austin Powers is up and good. The score now 37-31 with 59 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter. New Orleans has to get this onside kick.
59 seconds is an eternity if they get this ball back. I guarantee they're going to get great field position. St. Louis is holding their collective breaths.
And the onside kick is off, but that one goes too deep and easily fielded yet again by St. Louis.
Yeah, the kicker there did not give his defense there a chance. This game is going to be over. There's going to be 2 kneel downs, and this will be a wrap. Johnny Pickler and his social media team is already in front of the keyboard typing up how he just got his first win at home to please these home fans. And his social media team, I guarantee it, right now is smiling ear to ear. They're already on the prowl, thinking about what they're going to type up.
And so Johnny Pickler will take the snap and take the knee to let this clock start to run down.
When he takes this next kneel down, he's going to hold on to that football. He's not going to give it back to the ref. This game is over.
And St. Louis will come back up to the line and get ready to kneel the ball yet again, letting the game clock run down as long as they can first. Just taking their time, letting the clock run. They know that the game is pretty much over. They just got to knee this one more time, and they will.
The chat is going ballistic. The owner of St. Louis is proud. I've never seen that man type a sentence that took less than 2 minutes. He got that one off in about 10 seconds. He is going ballistic. St. Louis is going ballistic. The crowd is partying. They're going to be dancing the streets tonight. They got their first win 3 games into the season, and they're already telling themselves, what if? What could our record have been? They had some tough losses. Both of them were close, and they got their first win here today. Pleasing these fans at home right now, and they couldn't be more proud.
And before they got the win, we got to have a little exciting action with New Orleans bringing this back to within 6. A great game by both teams, and St. Louis just played their heart out for the home field.
Yeah, Diesel Dawson took a lot of pressure off his quarterback. His quarterback delivered, and other than that ill-advised interception he threw a perfect game if you take away that Hail Mary attempt. Johnny was Johnny on the spot today. He came to play, and he said, he turned around, looked at the crowd, looked at all of everyone and said, take that pickle 6 and shove it. You can now call me Mr. Touchdown because he got 3 of them on the night here today. Johnny redeemed himself. He's ecstatic. The city of St. Louis is ecstatic. The training staff, the owners, the staff, the players, they're all happy for this young man. He just got the first win of his professional career, and St. Louis should be proud of this young man. He has come a long way here early on this season.
So I have a feeling that you just covered it, but before the graphic shows, I have to ask, who is your player of the game for this game?
If it was up to me, I would have 2 players of the game. They'd be co-players. It'd be Johnny Pickler and it'd be Diesel Dawson. They're probably going to give it to Johnny because of the 3 touchdowns he had, minus the ill-advised interception. But, man, that's a tough call. If I only give it to one, it would probably be Johnny. He's a rookie quarterback. He came to play today. You can't win without quarterbacks making throws downfield. But, man, Cody, Diesel Dawson deserves some credit too. But I'd probably give it to Johnny if I can wait to give it to one person.
And you can't discredit the defensive line for the Gladiators when you talk about this game. 5 total sacks. And, New Orleans with their own 5 total sacks. So, quarterbacks just dropping all game.
Yeah, despite the pressure that they're in their faces, both quarterbacks stood strong out there. Johnny had a number of throws that I can recall in which he stood tall in the pocket, despite the pressure in his face, and got off some great throws downfield, giving his team a chance to come out here with a victory today.
And the St. Louis running game, or well, we'll hold that thought for just a second as we await. And there it is, Johnny Pickler getting his first player of the game in his rookie season. 19 for 22, 284 yards and 3 touchdowns, 139.4 QBR.
I don't even recall that third incompletion.
But as I was going to say, the run defense for St. Louis also doing their jobs. 18 attempts for 26 yards for Reggie Streeter. But you have any closing thoughts, Eddie?
Well, speaking of Reggie Streeter, I don't imagine that he anticipated this kind of lack of production so far in a young season. But it's a long season to go, and they're still getting acclimated to him too. So we'll see how he produces moving forward.
Well, I am Robert Garrett Jr. alongside Eddie Gage and Mikey Amprota in the booth. This has been the Simulation Football League on twitch.tv/simulationfl. I hope you enjoy the game and stay tuned for more.
Thanks for coming. Good night. Drive home safely.